This is Extra Paycheck Podcast, episode number 71.
You're listening to Extra Paycheck Podcast, where you will learn how to build and grow your own successful online business. Now, here's your host, Alex Soul.
Welcome to yet another episode of Extra Paycheck Podcast. This is episode number 71, and today's episode is very special because I will be doing something I have never done before on this podcast, and I will be sharing one of the businesses that I started recently, and I will be doing kind of a case study of how it happened, why it happened, what kind of money I was able to earn, and the most important part of it all, I guess, is this whole episode or this business will be proof that you do not need a lot of investment or any investment at all, really, and that you don't really need experience starting a business in certain cases, just in this one, because this business was started in an industry that I was not involved in before, and it wasn't like affiliate marketing or anything like that I've used to doing. So let's get straight to it. The business in question here is not really my business. I started it with my girlfriend, and it wasn't started as a business. It was started as a side project. So basically, we are making and selling beard oil. I know for some of you, you might be listening right now and thinking like, what the hell are you talking about, Alex? Beard oil, what's that? So beard oil is a product that people use on their beards to basically smooth out the skin, moisturize the skin, and so on. What happens is when you start growing a beard, which is a trend in a way, it has been trending for the past few years, and I think it might be going down at this point, but it was a really, really big trend. So when you start growing beard, just like your hair, the skin underneath gets dry, you could get dandruff or beard druff as we call it, and when you start growing beard, it's also, your skin starts getting very, very itchy underneath the hair. So you need something to moisturize the skin, something to relieve all the itchiness and so on. And beard oil is exactly the product that helps you do that. So it all started with basically I started growing a beard a while ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I had these exact issues. My skin would get very dry, it would get itchy, it would get red. And I was looking for a product that would help me out with that. And I discovered the existence of beard oil. Now, my biggest problem was that beard oil was really, really expensive. It's like $20 to $30 for a very, very small bottle, size of a lipstick or so, to give you an idea. And I still managed to get some beard oil. I think of the very first one that I got was a gift, and then I went to a barber shop and I tried some other ones and I smelled them, and although it worked on my skin, I really didn't like the smells that I found so far. And that's when my girlfriend said, well, let's try to make our own beard oil. You know what? It shouldn't be that complicated. So we started looking around online. We found a few recipes. Basically, there are a few carrier oils, which means like basic oils that go into that beard, and they don't really have any smell to it. And then there are scented oils that add the smell and, well, the actual scent to the beard oil, and you could play with that and you could do whatever recipe you want and make the smell that you actually enjoy. So after that, we went out to a local shop in Montreal that was selling basic ingredients like that. It's all organic, all natural ingredients. So we bought the ingredients to make our very first batch of beard oil, and it cost us about $50 Canadian for that first batch. And once again, mind that we did that for me. We weren't thinking of starting a business or anything. We just thought that we could try making beard oil that I would like the scent of. So fast forward, we made the beard oil, and we ended up making about 10 bottles because that was like the smallest batch of oils we could buy, and it produced about 10 bottles. Now, so I have these 10 bottles in my hand, and I started using one of them, and I realized that it will take me probably a month or 2 months or maybe even 3 months to go through one bottle. And we thought, well, what can we do with the other bottles? Because it'll take me years probably to use them all up. And this is when we got the idea of trying to sell them online or offline, because we thought, well, I really like the smell. People gave me compliments that they really enjoy the smell. So we thought there are other people who would be willing to buy that kind of beard oil and they would enjoy the smell as well. And one of the easiest things to get that product being sold online was going through Etsy.com. If you haven't heard of it, ETSY.com. This is a marketplace mostly for handmade products, stuff like that, artisanal products. So we listed our beard oil there. If I remember correctly, it didn't cost anything to start selling on Etsy. I'm pretty sure that's actually the case. You do pay a very small commission to Etsy once there is a sale. So basically they take a very small fee from every sale that you make. Something like that. And it's a very, very small commission once again. So we listed some beard oils there and they started selling. People were actually looking them up and people were ordering them. Now, we had a few setbacks here and there because shipping in Canada is incredibly expensive for such a small item. We would pay something like from $8 to $15 to ship one single bottle, which is kind of harsh. But we ended up basically charging a little bit more for the beard oil and trying to keep the shipping cost lower, because nobody in their right mind will pay $15 to get a little bottle of beard oil shipped to them. But that's the cheapest shipping we could find. That's totally another story. So we started selling that beard oil, and the sales started going up, and we were selling them, walking to the post office every day, shipping them out. And then we thought to try maybe selling them on Amazon as well, which was a very, very long process of getting them approved, because FDA and stuff, well, it's not an FDA controlled substance, but you have to kind of prove it to them that beard oil does not fall into the categories that have to be approved by FDA. A very, very long story. And in the end, Amazon did not really work out well for us for this product. We started selling another product related to beards as well on Amazon, but that's a totally different story. So beard oil did not work well on Amazon. We sold a few bottles and that was pretty much it. I think there's just too much competition, and a lot of our competition are charging a lot smaller prices than we are. So we kind of abandoned the idea of Amazon, although we still have the product listed there. And we concentrated more on Etsy. We started using Etsy's pay-per-click campaigns within Etsy, and it's really cool to see how they work. However, it's really, really limited on keywords and on the amount of money you could spend. I think you could spend only like $5 or $8 per day or something like that. Not much money you can spend on those clicks, but it did help getting a little bit more sales. And we thought of trying to market it differently, and it was really, really hard and new territory because I have never created my own physical product and sold online or offline, regardless. As I told you, as you already know, since you've been listening to my podcast, I've been selling stuff as an affiliate for the past 8 years or so, and that's kind of my thing. I'm an affiliate marketer. I promote other people's products. I think I would have made good money selling other people's beard oils, but I've decided to make my own. And well, as the time goes by, eventually we get contacted by Urban Outfitters through Etsy. They actually messaged us through Etsy. We didn't reach out to them. They reached out to us, and they said that they might be interested in selling our beard oil in their stores or the online stores. And at first we were really skeptical about it, because sometimes you would get messages there saying that, hey, I'm this vlogger and I would love to review your product. Would you send me a sampler or a free bottle of your beard oil or whatever product that is? Just send me a free bottle and I'll talk about it in my vlog, in my videos. And you would look up those people's channels and they have like 7 followers. And they've been active for like 2 years. So, those people aren't really doing anything that will help you. And sometimes people would just ask for free samples and you couldn't get any information on them. So it's basically just in a way, tire kickers, people trying to get free products out of you by, making up some stories. And when Urban Outfitter got in touch with us, that's why we're skeptical. We thought, oh, that's just another person trying to get the product for free. But we looked up the person, and apparently it was someone from Urban Outfitters. So we've decided to try it out. We thought we have nothing to lose. And so we sent our very first bottle across the border to US to that person who was in charge of finding new products for Urban Outfitters. Now, this was a very, very long and complicated story because I think this happened right before Christmas holidays, and we didn't get an answer from them for like weeks or maybe even a month. And it was a bit scary in a way because you thought, okay, they didn't like our product, let's just forget about it. But we decided to not give up just yet, so we contacted them again and we asked what they thought of our product, if they received it, if everything's fine. And they replied, yeah, we like your product, let's go ahead and maybe start selling it at Urban Outfitters. So we got really, really excited and we said, okay, sure, like what's the next step? How do we do it? And then silence again. They wouldn't reply to us. And I think it was one of the ways, this is just, something I'm making up here. I might be totally off, but I think they might have been testing how serious we are about it. Because I am sure we aren't the only ones who they contacted. I'm sure they contacted a lot more people. And I think they just want to see how serious you are about it and how dedicated you will be to working with them. So we contacted them again, and eventually we started getting more details, and they told us, okay, fine, yeah, let's go ahead. Here are the details. Here's what you need to do. And this is when things got even more complicated because we have to create some accounts with Urban Outfitters, their fulfillment center. There was another company involved and another company involved and more people. And finally, after like 3 months or so, we got our very first order, which we had to fulfill. And what happened then, it was a little bit complicated because at that time, we were traveling through Asia and we were not in Canada. So we had to involve other people back home. It was my sister and her boyfriend actually who helped us send out the first shipment to Urban Outfitters. And a few months later, there was a reorder. So they ordered even more bottles in the second order. It was sometime in May of this year, I believe. And once again, we were still in Asia. And so my sister had to do the other batch of products once again. She had to make them. She had to ship them out, do the customs declarations and all of that jazz. And it was pretty complicated because when crossing the border from Canada to US, you might run into some issues because they don't have enough information, or the actual company that we shipped it with did not declare the products properly or didn't give out enough information to the customs. And we had to deal with that while being in Thailand, which means that when it was like 2 p.m. in US, it was 2 a.m. in Thailand. So we had to spend sleepless nights trying to get in touch with our shipper, with Urban Outfitters, with the US Customs, and many other services and people to get it through. But finally, we did get it through. And there were like a lot of details that I'm leaving out here because that's not really the point. The point I'm trying to make with explaining these difficulties is that we had no experience or no knowledge on any of that. Yet we found out all our answers and we were able to solve every single problem, every single roadblock on the way because we really wanted to make it happen. We really wanted our product to start selling at Urban Outfitters. And now you can find the product at Urban Outfitters online stores as well as physical stores across USA and Canada. So we're really, really proud of that. And yeah, once again, the point is that we had no experience. We couldn't really do anything because we were really, really far away, like thousands of miles away. We were in Thailand at that time. And we still managed to make it work because we really wanted to. Experience doesn't matter. Knowledge doesn't matter. You can find all of that online. You can find people who have dealt with similar issues and get in touch with them and ask them for their advice or maybe some of their knowledge of how they got those issues resolved. So once again, experience is not needed. And if you look at our very, very first batch of beard oil that we made when it all started with the first 10 bottles. I think it cost us about $50, if I'm not mistaken. That was it. That was the first batch. And so that's not a big investment at all for, starting your line of products. So that's something very, very interesting. And what's going on at this time that it's still being sold at Urban Outfitters. We still have our beard oil selling through Etsy, still listed on Amazon. But we know that beards, the whole beard thing is a big trend, but the trends have a tendency of dying, and we're sure that beards will not be fashionable or popular, whatever you want to call it, very soon. So we are not sure if we'll keep on working with this product. Probably not, because, well, it's a trend. There's no reason chasing the trend, especially when they're really, really huge players in this niche already. They're like huge multi-million-dollar companies selling beard oil, and we can't really compete with them. And we don't really want to compete with them either, because, as I mentioned, it is a trend, and we are looking for something more, let's say, evergreen, a product that will sell for years and years to come. So the good thing is that we're still making money out of it. I think we made close to $10,000 this year with the beard oil, which is not too shabby, especially considering the amount of time we invested into that business, into the product, which is very, very, very little. So here's another point I'm trying to make here. We started with $50. This year alone, we made about 10 grand out of this product. We haven't spent much time on it. I would say maybe a total of 30-40 hours total for the whole year that was spent on this project, and we made about 10 grand. My point is that, once again, you don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to have any experience at all to start your own business and actually start making money. Now, in my case, and in the case of my girlfriend, what this experience has taught us mostly is how big retailers work, how Etsy works, how Amazon works, how to get your products shipped, how to get your products approved by different associations or whatever you might call them, and a lot of other things that we had no clue about just a year ago or less. And I'm really, really happy that we now have this knowledge, because this knowledge kind of opened our eyes. And now we're always on the lookout for products or for businesses that we can start reasonably fast and with a relatively small investment, and preferably no investment at all. And that's what counts here. It's not the money that we made, it's mostly the experience and the knowledge that we acquired from this experience. So here it is, once again, something that I've mentioned in so many episodes of this podcast, something that I've mentioned in so many of my blog posts. You shouldn't be looking for perfection. You shouldn't be looking for a way to create a perfect business or a perfect system, because you will spend your life trying to create a perfect plan. That's not what counts, and that's not what matters. What matters is taking action right now, today. Take as much action as possible, and then you can fix up whatever's wrong. You can figure out how to solve your problems that come along while starting a business or running a business. But that's actually something that will teach you new things, and that's something that will help you actually earn money and get that experience, get that knowledge that you need, that experience that you think you don't have any experience now. So start a business, and this is how you will get that experience. There's no other way to get the experience. You can't get the experience from reading books and blogs and listening to podcasts such as this one. It could give you some ideas, but the experience itself, it has to be earned through doing, not learning and thinking. So if I had to make one single point in this podcast episode, it would be that. It would be what I just said, and that I've said so many times before. Start taking action as soon as possible. Stop looking for perfection, because looking for perfection will just make you waste your time, and it would hold you back. And 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you would be thinking, oh my God, I should have started that project that many months back. Why did I waste a year thinking and planning it out and trying to make it perfect? Don't do that. Just take action right now and start your business, and the solutions will come to you. You'll be able to solve pretty much all the problems, I'm sure. We have been able to do that. I know a lot of people that told me incredible stories and incredible roadblocks and setbacks when starting the business. Just listen to so many episodes of this podcast that I've done with entrepreneurs in different fields and industries, and many, most of them actually have a story of a huge roadblock or setback where you would think, oh my God, that's the end of your business. That's the end of your entrepreneurship. How can you go on? Yet people manage to find solutions to those problems, and then they manage to go on, because that's not something that should be holding you back. Don't think of what if something goes wrong. What if? That doesn't matter. When it comes, that's when you start thinking, okay, how do I solve it? But don't hold yourself back. Don't put the fear in front of you, and don't let that fear stop you from making your dreams happen, from achieving your goals. Start taking action, as much of it as possible, as soon as possible. And yeah, that's the advice for today's episode. Well, once again, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I will be putting up a show notes page at extrapodcast.com/71. I think I will try to include a few interesting episodes of the podcast with previous guests who talk about their setbacks and who explain how they solved their problems and how they got out of pretty incredible, complicated situations. I hope you'll enjoy those episodes. And you can also subscribe to the show on iTunes. Simply go to extrapodcast.com/iTunes. You can also leave a review and a rating, which will help the show tremendously. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next Monday.